Today in not crypto, actually, because we're talking about the stock markets, because it seems that the stock markets have now lost all concern for reality. The irrational greed that is currently sweeping over the stock markets right now makes little to no sense. Literal bankrupt companies are seeing insane pumps. Common sense would tell us that a crash is coming and that there is a real chance that we are nearing a top for the stock markets in the short term. But the Federal Reserve, there they are, printing their trillions of dollars, and they have made this market completely insane and irrational. The CryptoLark, this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the wild, wild markets, whether it be crypto or beyond. Also, if you are curious about Bitcoin, but are not sure how to get started, then check out my beginner course called Cryptocurrency Explained. It's going to walk you through all of the basics, like how do you buy Bitcoin, how do you send Bitcoin, how do you mine Bitcoin, how do you store your Bitcoin, as well as how to build a portfolio, and much, much more. There is a link down below where you can learn more. So, at this point, if you have been watching the stock markets, then you probably realize that all logic and all common sense has been thrown out the window. Let me give you this as an example. The rental car company Hertz recently went bankrupt. It has been crushed by the Mexican beer crisis. I mean, they should really know better. I mean, come on. Since when have drinking and driving been a good mix? It's not a good mix, Hertz. Don't do it. Anyway, you would assume that a company going bankrupt would be bad for a company's stocks. Oh, no, not in 2020, my friends. You see, the retail traders, they have come to the rescue. Over 102,000 Robinhood users now hold stocks for Hertz, a company which is bankrupt. A flood of retail investors, they are coming into the market right now and probably buying a localized top. They don't care about the earnings. They don't care about the balance sheets. They don't care about any of the other fundamentals going on in any company. They're just buying stuff. It's crazy. Since declaring bankruptcy, Hertz stock has pumped nearly 1,500%. It's unbelievable. And Hertz is not alone. Oh, no. Lots of other bankrupt companies have been seeing massive pumps. Look, if you're trading on Robinhood or a similar app and have been buying into these stocks, then please take your profits on your trades. Honestly, ask yourself this: what is the future stock price of a bankrupt company? Think about it. The herd mentality, it is incredibly dangerous, and when numbers start going up big time like this, it actually attracts more people in. News headlines like this one, the biggest 50-day rally in history, that's a signal to the herd. It's time to get into the market. When the reality is, that is likely a signal that it's time to start taking profits and get out. I am reminded of the quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This is not the time of maximum financial gain in the stock markets, but it's actually the time of maximum financial risk. What we are seeing with stocks right now is an insane just flood of people going nuts. It reminds me of the 2017 crypto bubble. It seems that everyone who is not out in the streets right now in the USA, they're at home dumping their life savings into Robinhood. It's crazy. The NASDAQ, it just hit a new all-time high. Crazy, man. The S&P 500 has erased all of the losses that it has seen since March. Same for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Most of the companies in the stock market are currently heavily overbought. It's crazy. We're in a kind of disbelief period of economic collapse where everything looks sweet for just a few months and then blammo! Or, of course, the Fed just comes walking back in with all their money, throwing money around, printing it up like crazy to keep the basically Ponzi-like stock market going at this point. Just a reminder for you that the macro picture, it is not looking good for the U.S. economy. And when the U.S. sneezes, Everyone else tends to catch a cold because it is an economic powerhouse of the global economy. This chart here shows the 2020 GDP forecast for the world. As you can see, it is not looking very good. The USA, it is likely going to see a 52% GDP drop for Q2, although there is strong recovery predicted for Q3 and Q4, it's still going to end the year significantly down. However, the pandemic, it has not disappeared. And if anything, with all this civil unrest going on, it makes a second wave more likely. And if a second wave of that comes, then a second round of equity market collapse becomes even more likely. And the civil unrest currently rocking the USA could really throw a monkey into the wrench of economic recovery just in of itself. Right now, 1 in 4 Americans are skipping meals or relying on food donations. 42 million Americans remain unemployed. That's just a few stats, but they're shocking. So I ask you, can you honestly think of one logical reason why the markets are back to near all-time highs or at all-time highs? No, there is no logic. The economy, of course, it is not the stock market. The stock markets, they just exist in a world unto themselves, but at this point, literally anything bad could happen, and the stock markets would probably pump. It's lost all logic. Well, we do have Q2 earnings reports coming up for companies. That could be a big shit hitting the fan kind of moment for the stock markets. Maybe not. Maybe when they report massive earnings losses, the stocks will pump even more. Who knows? At this point, literally nothing would surprise me. But it seems that in the short term anyway, CNBC may have just given us the top signal with this post. 26-year-old trader makes $1,500 betting on airline stocks. Reminds me of back when Brian Kelly on CNBC made a tutorial of how to buy XRP at $3. If you ever need a counter indicator, just check CNBC and do the opposite. Look, long term, the stock market remains overall bullish. Investing in the top companies in America has been a good bet over time, and it will likely remain so moving forward. But short term, the market could blow off a good bit of steam, so tread carefully, especially if you're investing in stocks of bankrupt companies. Come on, guys. Come on. It's craziness. The stocks, they were overinflated before the big crash happened anyway. Because of stock buybacks, prices had been artificially high for a lot of stocks for a very, very long time. And then when the going got tough, the Fed, they stepped in. $1 trillion a day in overnight liquidity to keep Wall Street running, bailouts to basically every corporation, buying up corporate bonds, even non-investment grade bonds, literal junk bonds no one else wants. The Fed, they'll take them. The Fed has proven that no matter what happens, they will step in to print that money and to be the buyer of last resort in the market. The market, it is too big to fail, creating a terrible moral hazard for the future of that market. The fact that the Fed is buying corporate bonds and junk bonds, it should be a national scandal. But sadly, few people even know that it's happening, and if they do know, most of them don't even care. The Fed, they sent up the signal, the markets will not be allowed to fail. Investors will not be allowed to fail. So the investor class, the corporations, the ruling class, they're always going to get bailed out. This is socialism for the rich. I disagree with it, but it is what it is. You can't change the facts on the ground as they are. Investors, you can actually make a lot of money when you realize that this is the reality, that the Federal Reserve will keep pumping money to ensure that the markets stay up. Anyway, all of the insanity in the stock market I actually think is a good sign for the cryptocurrency markets. It proves that irrational greed, it is still alive and well. It proves that long term, we will definitely get insane pumps in the cryptocurrency market, including another 2017 style altcoin market rally. While insane gains have been made in the stock market this year, many investors, they're still getting into gold, they're still getting into Bitcoin, they're still piling up those dollars, since a V-shaped recovery for the stock market, it defies all logic. And they are still looking at potentially tough times ahead. But of course, we are not living in logical times. So anything is possible, I suppose. Anyway, your question for today. Have you been trading the stock markets during all of this volatility? If so, what has been your best investment, and have you taken profits on that investment, or are you holding at the top hoping that it's going to go higher? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you're having a freaking awesome day wherever you are, whatever you are doing out there in the wild, wild world. Keep it classy, everyone. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.